Hello everyone, welcome back to task 38. In this program, we are going to use again functions to find out the area of circle as well as area of a hexagon. Okay. Now, and also we have to find out whether the which area is larger, right? So we have to do three things over here, right? So let's begin. So let's start with the hexagon. Okay, so before we begin, let's check the hint for the formulas. Right now, the area of a circle, area of a circle is pi r square, whereas area of a hexagon is 3 root 3 divided by 2 a square, where a is the side. Okay, so let's begin. Once we know this formulas, so we know we need a radius, right, and we also need a side for the hexagon, right? And once that is done, we also know we need area for circle and one area for hexagon, right? So let me just write hexagon. Okay, so then let me just call it as area finder. Okay, area finder. Now let me just take the input from the user. Okay, so enter radius of circle, right, and it is going to be circle. Oh sorry, it is radius. Okay, and copy the same thing and paste side of hexagon, right, and side. So our input part is done, right? So now we have to calculate the area, right? So area of circle is equal to, obviously we could write directly what is whatever is the formula, but we have to use functions, right? So what we will do is we will first create a function. Okay, let's say, because the formula for the circle has pi in it, so definitely whatever is the value coming out of the at the end will be having some float value, right? So the return type, okay, return type of the function should be float, right? Then let's call it calculate area of circle. Okay, so this is my function, calculate area of circle, right? And here I want to give circle the radius, right? So let's call it r. Okay, so this is my function definition, and the inside this what I'm expecting is you give the radius to the function, you will get the area out, right? So radius is in integer and your area is in float, right? So it would be better if we declare everything as float. Okay, because even radius can be is possible that radius can also be float value, right? So let us declare everything float. Okay, so now our radius will be input. So now what we have to do is we have to call this. Right now the function is empty, we will populate it, but before that let's call this function to find out the area of a circle. Okay, so to call it you have to take the name of the function and give the argument. Right now here argument should be the radius, and radius here it's called radius, right? So now this radius will be passed on to this function, but here when it comes it will be saved inside R. Okay, so that is very important to remember. Okay, so here in this function it is called radius, but when it comes over here, you have named it R, right? Now it is possible that you don't like unnecessary increasing the different names, so you may name it radius also, it doesn't matter. Okay, so this will still work fine because this scope of this radius is inside this, and the scope of this radius is valid only inside the main function, right? So you can reuse the name radius again over here, it will not make much difference. Okay, so since let's stick to R. Okay, so and now I just have to find out the value of the area of the circle. Okay, since pi is involved, let me just define pi over here. Okay, so I have defined pi. So now the formula for area of a circle is, it is pi into R into R, right? Now this, if I want, I could have stored it in another variable, right? Or better, and I don't want to unnecessarily waste memory in storing variables, I could directly do this. Okay, I could directly return, because there is no further operations going to be performed on this area, right? So why to unnecessarily save in another variable? I can directly return it, right? So as soon as I return, this operation will be performed, and this value will be returned over here. Okay, so this function will return that value, and as soon as that value is returned, it is assigned to this particular variable. Okay, so whatever value this is getting calculated, it will come from here and get assigned into area of circle, right? So that finishes up with the area of a circle. Right, now I will copy the same thing and find out area of hexagon. Okay, similarly I will find hexagon. Okay, and I have not yet defined this function, so let's come over here and again float, because the formula contains a division. So since this formula has division by 2, so it may come out to be floating value, right? That's why I have selected floating value. Then inside that, let us call it float s for side. Okay, then I can here simply return the area. Area is actually 3 into, now I need to have square root, right? So to have square root, I have to define that I have to include the math library, right? So math.h, and now I can come over here, multiply it by sqrt, square root of 2, right? And into whatever is the side into side divide by 2, right? So this is the formula. Let me just check. Okay, it's 3 root 3. Okay, sorry. So this is 3 root 3 side square divide by 2. Perfect. Okay, so once this is done, our calculation will be done. It will be returned from there to here, and from here it will be stored into area of hexagon. Okay, so once both these things are done, the only thing left is to print it. So let's print the area. Okay, so let's call it area of circle is percentage f. Okay, let me just add a precision, and it's area of circle, right? And just copy this, paste it, and area of hexagon is area of hexagon, right? And just to show it in a separate line, I will just add \n, okay? And if I run it now, it should run. Let me add the radius of the circle as 5 and the hexagon is 6, okay? So I get area of circle as 0 and area of hexagon as 0, okay? Let me just check why I'm getting that. Oh, it's because I started with int and then I changed it to float and forgot to change in the scanf %f, okay? So I will just change these and then I will run it again, okay? So 5, 6, and I get the two areas, right? So now if I go back to my aim, I have to find the area of both these shapes, area of the circle and the hexagon, and then I have to also find which one is having a larger area, right? So that is pretty simple. You just have to do an if statement, right? And just check which one is greater, right? So if area of circle is greater than area of hexagon, then you just print area of greater, right? So I have just printed this, and in the else statement I will do the same, but it will be area of hexagon, okay? So that finishes with the program. Let's run it one last time. Radius 5, side of hexagon, and you can see that hexagon area is much larger, okay? So I hope you have understood this example, this task, where we have used two functions, two different functions with float arguments and float return type, okay? So see you in the next task.